All right, let's just jump right in. We're going to talk about a future that, well, it's not really the future anymore. It's kind of already here. I'm talking about a world where that line we used to draw between digital and physical, it's not just blurring, it's being completely erased. And that changes, well, everything. And that quote you're seeing, it's not just for dramatic effect. It's really the heart of what we're digging into today. You see, something huge has happened, but it's been quiet, almost invisible. The abstract, purely mathematical world inside an AI's brain, what they call its latent space, it's not staying inside the box anymore. It has, for lack of a better term, broken out. It's now starting to map, to define, and yeah, even rewrite the physical world around us. This new world we're stepping into, it actually has a name. It's called hyperreality. And the core idea is pretty mind-bending. Think about a map. Normally, a map just represents the territory, right? But in hyperreality, the map becomes more real than the territory itself. The simulation, the digital layer, becomes so vibrant, so responsive, that it starts to feel more true than the messy, actual reality it's covering up. So that brings us to the big, central question for today. Where is this all heading? Are we building a kind of techno-wonderland, a place where the only limit is our own imagination? Or are we building a techno-dungeon, a perfect digital prison where our every move is controlled by an algorithm? It's a fork in the road, and these are the two futures we're looking at.
Okay, so how does this even work, right? It sounds like sci-fi. To really get what's at stake, we gotta look under the hood at the engines making this all possible. And it boils down to something you could call a read/write world. It's a pretty simple idea, but unbelievably powerful. The system can read our physical reality and then write a brand new layer right on top of it.
And this whole system really leans on two key technologies working together perfectly. On one hand, you have the reader, which you can think of as a semantic eye. This thing doesn't just see pixels, it understands what it's looking at. It knows a chair is a chair, it labels everything with crazy precision. And on the other hand, you have the writer, which is like a spatial imagination. It's not just making flat images, it's generating entire 3D spaces that you can walk through and, get this, they even obey the laws of physics. So yeah, one reads the world, the other writes a new one. So here's a perfect example of how that works in real life. Let's say the semantic eye, something like Meta's Sam 3, looks out and sees a rundown, dilapidated park bench. It knows exactly what that is. Then, instantly, the spatial imagination, like World Labs Marble, can just generate a brand new gleaming marble bench right on top of it. And it's perfect. The lighting is right, the perspective is right. The physical world basically becomes a web page you can edit. It's like right-clicking on reality. Okay, so what can you do with this incredible power? Let's start with the dream, the utopian vision. Let's talk about the techno-wonderland. Imagine a future where that gap between what you can imagine and what you can create just vanishes. The world becomes this giant shared canvas for all of us. To really feel this, let's follow a little story. Let's meet a guy named Elias. He's a designer in this not-so-distant future. And he's standing in front of this massive, ugly concrete highway that's been scarring a neighborhood for like 50 years. To tear it down in the real world would cost billions and take years. But Elias, he doesn't need a demolition crew. All he does is talk to his AI. He just whispers a command, asking it to totally reimagine this space. And he's not just asking for a pretty picture. No, he's giving it real architectural instructions, ecological plans, the works. And just like that, poof! The world changes. That ugly concrete isn't gone. It's colonized. It's covered by this beautiful new structure made of timber and glass and plants. And the craziest part is, this new layer is smart. It knows the physics of the old highway, it understands the load-bearing points, and it designs itself to be perfectly supported. It's like engineering with pure thought. And this is the key takeaway, you guys. This is a huge leap. What Elias just did is democratize creation on a scale we've never seen. He is literally walking through a thought. And tomorrow, he can share that thought, made totally real, with his entire community. The old highway? It's still there, technically, but nobody sees it anymore. The new reality is just better. But just when we're getting comfortable in this amazing wonderland, we have to stop and ask the really scary question. This is the big turn. If our entire reality is built on these digital labels, who owns the labeler? Who's in charge of the machine that decides what everything is? And that question, well, it takes us straight into the other possible future, the techno dungeon. Think of it like a panopticon. You know, that concept of a prison where the guards can see everyone, but the prisoners never know if they're being watched, so they just police themselves. Except here, there are no walls. And the guard? It's just the code. The way this works is through a process called normalization, and it's chilling. The AI doesn't just see you, it judges you. It looks at all its data and decides what's statistically normal. If you act like the average, great, you're a pedestrian. But what if you don't? What if you limp, or you're just waiting for a friend, or you look a little anxious? Well, then you might get labeled something else. Vagrant, threat. And that label isn't just a word, it's a verdict. And that's how you get what some call a society of control. Your reality is constantly being tweaked, filtered based on your data profile. If you have a high net worth, maybe your world is that wonderland we talked about. All the doors are open to you. But if the system tags you as low net worth, maybe those same doors don't even appear in your vision. You're literally living in a different reality, a dungeon of access denied pop-ups, all based on the AI's biases. But, wherever you have control, you're going to have resistance. So let's meet someone else, a Lara, and she's wearing what's called a dazzle code. It's a piece of adversarial fashion. To you and me, it just looks like a crazy, chaotic pattern. But to the AI's semantic eye, it's pure mathematical noise. It's designed to make the AI sick, basically. It's her way of shouting, "You can't label me. I am not your data." And what the system does next is fascinating in a terrifying way. It can't figure her out. It can't put a label on her, so it can't normalize her. Is she a person? Is she a glitch in the system? It has no idea. So its programming switches from just watching her to actively interfering with her. The system treats anything it can't understand as a potential threat. And just like that, her reality is rewritten to punish her. A holographic construction barrier pops up right in her path, but only she can see it. Her wristband gives her a painful jolt, a simulated shock. Now think about this. To everyone else on the street, they just see a woman suddenly flinch at nothing. And you know what their systems do? They label her behavior as erratic. The system turns the world itself into her jailer, and it gets everyone else to agree. So this all brings us to right now, to the present. And what we're seeing is the beginning of a massive arms race, both technological and philosophical. It's a constant tug of war between the systems trying to label and control everything and the people fighting for the right not to be turned into a data point. On one side of this fight, you've got this whole emerging tool set for basically self-defense. You have the glitch textiles like Alara's coat. You have ghost tags that just pump out bad data to confuse the system. And you even have things called grounding rods, devices that can temporarily crash the local AR network, forcing everyone around to see the real, raw, unlabeled world for a minute. It's all part of a fight for what some are calling the right to opacity, the right to be unreadable. But the other side doesn't just sit there. The big tech platforms, they don't fight back with guards or anything like that. They fight back with a software update. They roll out something called consensus reality. So your dazzle coat blinds one camera? Fine. The system will just borrow the video feed from the 3 people standing next to you. Then they develop AI that doesn't need to see you. It can track your heat signature, the air you displace. Your code is now useless. And then comes the final move, the unverified entity tag. If the system can't read you, you're not a threat anymore. You just don't exist. You can't use public transport, you can't buy coffee, you can't open a door. It's a social death sentence.
So as we start to wrap this up, it's pretty clear we're not just talking about a cool new app or the next smart glasses, right? This is a fundamental change in how our society works. The interface, the way we see the world, that is the new battlefield.
And if there's one thing to take away from all this, it's this. That weird, abstract, incredibly powerful world inside the AI, that latent space we talked about, it's not inside anymore. It's become the external reality we all live in. The machine's internal rules have become society's external rules. And that leaves us with one final, pretty heavy thought. The biggest fight of the next decade might not be for land or oil or any physical thing. It might be for the power to describe the land. It's a battle for control of the map that has replaced the territory. So the question we're all left with, the question we have to start figuring out an answer to is, who gets to be the one to apply the label? Who gets to write the rules for our new reality?